Yeah, I like to drink a nice Smirnoff.
There you go.
Yeah, I love Smirnoff. It's my favorite.
There you go. Next time we'll start with a shot of Smirnoff. It'll start the
Yeah,
interview off right.
Smirnoff number 21. Smirnoff 21.
Perfect. Well, you need to get a Smirnoff number 85, but you need to make that happen.
Ah,
There
Smirnoff
you
85. I like that. You're right.
go. Hey everybody, this is David Stark from Watcher Pass. Today I'm talking with Vernon Davis, the star of The Ritual Killer, which comes to theaters and on demand on March 10th, 2023. We're going to talk to him right now. While you're watching, if you can like and subscribe to this channel, that would be fantastic. I'll spend a lot. Thank you. So thanks so much for joining me. Today I'm joined by someone who needs no introduction, but I'll give one anyways. This is Vernon Davis, the star of The Ritual Killer, which comes to theaters on demand on March 10th, 2023. Vernon plays a different character than I think I'm used to seeing him in. It gets to be a little bit more of a bad guy. Well, I guess a very big bad guy. And he does a great job. It's a very fun role for him. And I'm so happy to talk to you. So thanks so much for joining me.
Oh, thanks for having me. I appreciate that.
I guess I should say I assume it's a fun role for you. I actually don't know what it was like, but I assume it was fun to play the bad guy.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. It was there was a lot of correlation between my backstory and my personal life. So it all makes sense.
Awesome. And so I guess the first question is, how did you find your way into acting? I looked at your profile. You've done some stuff earlier, but it seems like in the last few years, you've really kind of like gone all in and started a production company and really kind of gone into the movie route. So what led you from football to, making films and starring in films, and what was that journey like?
I like to say the thing that brought me into this space is just my love for art. When I was in college, I studied art studio, and then when I left and made my way down to San Francisco, across to San Francisco, I opened up an art gallery. Then from there, I took a class at the Shelton Theater of Art, and I knew right then and there that I wanted to pursue acting and producing. So I didn't look back. I just kept going, and I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad that you were able to like pursue your dream and then also continue to pursue other dreams after, the playing time in your career was over. That's amazing.
Oh, thank you.
And so, I guess one question I have is, how do you go about choosing your projects? I saw you in Chariot. I loved your character in Chariot. It was such a like I didn't expect that from Vernon Davis, the actor. I expected maybe you play like the bodyguard or the like big tough boyfriend. But I loved how different your character was and how it like challenged my conventions of what it was, and probably maybe challenged your portrayal. And then this again, you played like a different character than I was expecting. I expected you to be maybe like the cop or the detective, but you got to play the bad guy. So how do you go about choosing your projects? What appeals to you? And do you just try to put yourself in other comfort zones, or is there some rhyme to this reason?
I think when it comes to just having range, just true pure range, it comes from within, just your personality, your character, your integrity, who you stand for as a person, and how vulnerable you're willing to be. That's what it's all about. And for me, I've always been like that since I was a kid. And when it comes to certain roles, and like you said, a lot of people probably see me as a cop or a military guy, but I'm into I like the challenge of tapping into something that's totally different. Like I want to play the character that's paranoid schizophrenic. I want to play the character that's maybe strung out on drugs. Those are the kind of interesting characters I love. So when I read a script and I see a character with so many dynamics and so much going on mentally, physically, emotionally, then that's the character I want to play. He has to be super, super attractive to me in order for me to tap into the character.
That's awesome. I love that you're like challenging yourself and playing unconventional roles. I guess it wouldn't really be acting if you were just playing yourself, right? That it would just be
Exactly.
you.
Yeah.
And so it sounds like you wanted to play Randoku from the start. Were you considering any other roles in this film? Because I assume you could have played most of them, but were you always kind of like heart set on playing Randoku?
Yeah, I was hard set on Randoku when the opportunity came and they were asking me to read. They said read the role of Randoku, see what you think about it. So when I read it, I was like, wow, this is for me. This is my character. But also at the time, I had put in so many hours with studying. So when I read the script, I was like, yeah, I can do this. this is great. And then I had to sit down and say, okay, how am I going to piece this together? How am I going to give this character an identity? Right. So I gave him a backstory and I started paraphrasing, coming up with my objectives. And I said, okay, there's something missing. I have to learn the actual dialect. I have to find my dialect coach, found my dialect coach. Then I said, okay, what else do I need to do? Okay, let me get on Instagram and direct message someone from South Africa so I can learn the actual Zulu for some of this translation. I did that and started bringing life into this character.
That's awesome. I love that you were like deep dove. I was going to ask about, did you work with a dialect coach? Because you definitely had to develop a dialect and also speak another language. So it sounds like you did that right from the start to really kind of both understand the character and then also, make sure that your lines were able to be delivered, confidently on set.
Absolutely.
And, yeah, definitely. Did you do anything else to prepare? I know that in this role you had, you had some fighting scenes, you had some more kind of like physical movements that you had to do. Did you have to do any prep for that? Or is that just something that, I don't know, maybe you grew up and you learned how to fight, or maybe you just, maybe you've done that also in your time after playing in the NFL?
So with my experience when it comes to the stunts and fighting, the fight coordination, usually there's a stunt guy on the set. There's a bunch of guys. And they already have the choreography, the routine set up. So the night before or 2 nights before, we'll get together and we'll start putting it together. Okay, this is what I want you to do. You come like this, but we'll take the knife, right? So I'll take all of that and I'll just rehearse. And we'll rehearse together. But even when I'm by myself, I'll just work on the movements because they want big movements because they look good on camera. Like if I'm punching somebody, I want to go like back. Go wide, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, and we'll rehearse and just, it's not anything, it's not easy. You have to put the work in for anything to look great. So it's just working on the movements and just bringing it all together.
Yeah, for sure. Because you have to, make it look real, make it look kind of cinematic, and also you want to make sure that you don't hurt each other because there are some very physical moments in this film, and if you don't prepare right, then you could accidentally injure someone. So that makes
Absolutely.
perfect sense.
Absolutely.
Now, is there ever kind of a push and pull? Because like you said, they want these like big, Hollywood fight moments, but I think like in the Batman where the fight scenes are, it's a little bit more compact than like a real life fight. Like you don't go for like the haymaker swing. You try to like keep yourself compact and just, move with the person. So was there any push and pull with your choreographers, or is it just kind of like you trust them to make you look good on camera, and then, you just practice and it ends up looking good?
I trust that they make me look good on camera.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, I think you look good on camera anyway, so that sounds like that's a good trust to have.
I appreciate it.
And your character also had like some, I assume, prosthetics, some body tattoos, or I guess traditional tattoos, because they're not like ink tattoos, they were more kind of like body modification tattoos. What was that process like? Is this kind of one of the first movies where you've had to do kind of like more prosthetics, or have you done that before as well?
Yeah, I've done prosthetics before, but not to this extent. They were keloids all over my body. So in South Africa, that's when you get a kill. When you're killing, every time when you're a serial killer, he's marking himself, right? Wants to mark himself, and that's what you see all over his body. And it's an African tradition to do that as well. So yeah, it took a lot of time. I had to sit down for at least 2 hours a day to get all of that put on.
Oh my gosh. That and was it uncomfortable to have them on there? Were you worried that you were gonna like knock them off, or was it after they were on, did you just not notice it?
I didn't notice it. It was part of the character, so it didn't bother me at all.
I assume you, I mean, I guess I don't know. Do you have any keloids? Do you have any keloid
No,
tattoos? Because like, no, okay.
no.
I was expecting that, but you never know. Ask the question, right? And what was it like working with Morgan Freeman? I mean, that must have been fun to have him on set. Like, what was it like meeting him? Did you kind of hit it off? And also, what I would probably do if I met Morgan Freeman is ask him to like record my phone voicemail just so I could have his voice on something associated with me. Did you do anything like that?
No, I didn't, but it was very intimidating working with Morgan Freeman. He's iconic. He's Morgan Freeman. Like this is the guy that I grew up watching, that my granddad and I watched for many years. He had so many titles. It was an honor. I felt really honored and truly blessed to be able to be in his presence.
Yeah, no, I would just soak it in if I was ever in his presence. And I mean, it seems like you've had pretty good luck so far. You had Morgan Freeman, you had Bruce Willis in A Day to Die. Like you have, gotten yourself in the ambit of some big Hollywood stars. So that must be a fun part of this, second career that you've got going on.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm going to continue to, put myself in that space and create films with iconic guys. I want to work with all the guys. I want to work with all the older legends like Mel Gibson. I want to work with Morgan again. I want to work with, Denzel Washington. I want to work with all these are the guys. These are the guys who did it for a long time, and I can learn a lot from them. And just to be able to say, because I used to watch them, so making moves with them is like it would be truly amazing to be able to do something.
Yeah, it like comes full circle, right? This thing that you have wanted to do since you were a kid, now you're like up there and doing it. That must be an amazing experience.
Absolutely.
And your character also, he's I guess a witch doctor or a shaman. There were some like traditional African beliefs. It sounds like you did some research on them, with the body modifications. But was there other research that you had to do to like really encapsulate your character? Did you like go in and learn more about like some of these rituals before taking on? I know you did the dialect coach, and you did the physical training. Was there any sort of like more character backstory there?
Yeah. Well, I had to understand what I was dealing with and who I was dealing with. That's when I learned the language and dialect. So yeah, I did everything from ground up to before I started tapping into the paraphrasing and the objective, because I needed to understand what was going on. Like I looked up the Sangoma tribe. I looked up what Muti meant, like the whole like reasoning for what they're doing. Why are they making these concoctions? What does it do? Why is it a ritual? And because I needed to understand that so I can have understanding of the character.
Definitely. No, that I love the like amount of backstory and authenticity you put into this, because that just truly shows that you like really wanted to encapsulate this character and become Randoku in the acting sense. Yeah.
Yeah, just putting layers like with every character, whether it's me playing a jazz pianist or whatever, I want to take the class. I want to really make sure. I want to look up jazz musicians. I want to understand like just all that stuff, all the cool stuff.
Yeah, sure. And so this film is coming out in theaters on March 10th, 2023. Is there going to be a premiere that you're able to go to? Because I know a lot of the films that you did in the last few years, because of the pandemic, they probably had virtual releases or smaller releases. Are you able to go to like a big premiere for this, or is this also going to be kind of a staggered release or something? It's just going to kind of like go out there and you'll experience maybe with some of your friends in theaters.
We're having a premiere tomorrow at the Chinese Theater.
Nice.
Yeah, and I'm doing one in Washington, D.C.
Oh, very cool. That's awesome. Bring it back home.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which theater is that going to be? Is that that's not going to be downtown, is it?
It'll be downtown.
The Regal? Nice.
Alamo.
Oh, nice. Alamo. Perfect.
Yeah.
That is awesome. I love that. I love that you like are bringing it back and having, I don't know, friends, probably family as well, able to come see you in a theater and experience that.
Yeah, it's gonna be nice.
That is awesome. So I know we have limited time. I'm going to switch to, I call it the lightning round. They're just very lightweight questions about the film. I want to see how your personal experiences map to things that happen in there. You can feel free not to answer any of them. I will not be offended, but I try to keep them very answerable.
Okay.
All right. So the first question is, this film is called The Ritual Killer. It deals with rituals and things like that. Do you have any, I don't know, rituals or practices or things that you do before a big event? Like before I take a test, there is a certain song that I listen to almost every single time to like get myself in the right headspace. Do you have anything like that you do before either going on set or maybe from your playing days before you would go on the field?
Yeah. So when I was playing ball, I used to listen to music. I listened to hip hop on my way there. When I arrived, I switch it over and I start listening to quiet music like jazz and gospel, and just something like really calm me down. Mm-hmm. And then before every game, I'd go out and I catch the ball with one hand. I do 10 on this side, 10 on that side, over the shoulder, over this shoulder. I'll catch high balls, passes from out of the air, and then I'll do like sideline toe taps where I'm standing bounds. I do that before same routine every game.
That makes perfect sense. Do you have anything that you have like translated onto the set, like before you go, maybe on the set for the day or before you do like a big scene? Do you have any practices that you have adopted now?
Yeah, I do the same. So what I'll do is I'll take the scene. If I know the scenes that I'm doing, I
Mhm.
go in and I'll go over my lines to myself. Like I go over every line, boom, 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 I'll go over every line. And then I'll take my voice memo and I'll listen to it. I'll listen to my lines. I'll listen to them and I'll go over them just so I can make sure that I'm really solid with everything that I prepared myself for.
Yeah, it's kind of like you're playing days. Like you do the motions
Yeah.
that you know, just so that when you're out there, it becomes second nature.
Yeah. Just to, yeah.
Awesome.
One more just to double check. Yeah.
Awesome. So this is a like detective crime thriller. Did you ever want to be like a cop or a detective growing up?
Yeah, I always wanted. Yeah, I did. I went to school for criminal justice, so I always wanted to be a cop. I wanted to see what that was like, and it was great, especially playing roles like in A Day to Die,
Mhm.
Gasoline Alley. Did some stuff for BT Plus. It was awesome being a cop. I thought it was fun. It was great, but it wasn't enough. I needed more. I needed something more interesting.
Well, I'm looking forward to the more in-depth Vernon Davis one, where maybe you're gonna hunt down Randoku in a future episode. Maybe it'll be
Hey, there you
like a
go.
double thing. That'll be cool.
Yeah.
um, the main detective in this film has something from his past that kind of haunts him throughout. You don't feel free not to reveal it, but do you have something like from your past that has like stuck with you, either a good or a bad event, something that kind of like comes up occasionally in your life that you remember, or that causes you to like remember things?
Yeah, I'd say something that causes me to remember things.
Or maybe like causes you to
Mm,
like stop and like go back to that time, or like something jogs that memory, and it like causes you to relive that experience.
yeah, whenever I ride, but yeah, whenever I anytime I drive by a school or see a school like a high school, I always go back to my high school days for some reason. If I'm in college, I don't have that. It's not the same effect. Like I'm driving by college or anything of that nature. Just high school. Something about high school that brings back memories, all the memories that I had. Because I feel like I had a lot of memories in high school, from dating my kid's mom to the fights that I got into, to just finding myself as a football player and
Mhm.
receiving scholarships from different colleges. Like there were so many events that went on in high school. It was it's interesting. Even the simple fact that I wanted to pursue the arts, but I couldn't because I was so worried about people making fun of me. So all those different emotions and things that I encountered in high school was really it's something about it. Every time I drive by high school, that happens.
That's awesome. I mean, it sounds like it was a very formative time, right? Like you were being pulled in some different directions. You were, having to make big decisions and going to some fun events, but also like feeling pressure. It sounds like it must have been a very kind of emotionally, formative time for you.
Yeah.
Awesome. The character has, we talked about the body modifications that your character has. Do you have any tattoos? Not necessarily, body modifications, but any sort of tattoos that you've picked up?
Yes, I have a few, quite a few tattoos.
Very cool. A good portion of this movie takes place in Italy. I don't know if you actually filmed in Italy, but did you film there, and have you been before?
Yes, we filmed in Italy. We filmed in Rome, Italy. And yes, I've been there before. I've been to Rome, I've been to Florence, been to Amalfi Coast.
That's awesome. Good
Mhm.
choice on a project that lets you go to Italy. That is fantastic.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Part of this movie is about eating like organs and body parts. Have you ever eaten like organs or organ meat? Obviously not human, but like other organs. Like I've eaten cow tongue before in a sandwich. Have you eaten anything like that before?
Yeah, pig intestines, pig tongue, a cow tongue. Oh, I've
Yeah.
eaten goose liver.
Oh, nice. There we go.
Yeah.
All right. So you have been preparing for this role of Rangoku for a very long time, right? Sounds like.
Oh yeah.
The main detective seems to prefer drinking like scotch or bourbon throughout. Do you have a preferred drink that you have?
Yeah, I like to drink a nice Smirnoff.
There you go.
Yeah, I love Smirnoff. It's my favorite.
There you go. Next time we'll start with a shot of Smirnoff. It'll start the
Yeah,
interview off right.
Smirnoff number 21. Smirnoff 21.
Perfect. Well, you need to get a Smirnoff number 85, but you need to make that happen.
Smirnoff 85. I like that. You're right.
And tea played a prominent role in this film. Are you a tea drinker or coffee drinker, or maybe you just drink water? Maybe you just keep your body clean?
I like tea. Yeah.
Nice. Awesome. So the film is being released on March 10th, 2023 in theaters and on demand. You are out promoting it. You're going to go to the premiere in LA. You're going to go to the premiere in DC. But I know that you have been acting a lot, and you also have a production company that is busy. So after people see you in The Ritual Killer, what can they look forward next from you?
I think they can look forward to see me taking on some more interesting roles and landing more jobs with acting. I think it's going to be, I think a lot of people will definitely take me serious as an actor after they see this role, because it's not an easy role. All the work that I put in, from the dialect to the learning the actual language to the movements to just being true to who I was as the character, you know, not really acting, but using emotions as a way to um, achieve my objectives, right? Because acting is all emotion. It's not what's on the outside that we see. It's coming from within. Everything, every word, every intention. Like, you know, when I'm doing the work, I'm filling the pages with paraphrasing the emotional statements.
Yep.
You know, why am I asking this question? Why am I doing what I'm doing? Right? It's like, which is a beat. Like, why am I doing what I'm doing? Then I want to go over and I want to say, okay, how do I feel? How I feel about what I'm doing? How does that feel? Right? Emotionally, how does it feel? And has there ever been a personal moment in my life similar to this? So everything is all going back to feelings, and that's what you see when you're watching an actor, right? When you're watching me on camera, you're seeing those emotions and not really the acting.
For sure. No, definitely. And I will look forward to seeing you kind of continue to challenge yourself. I love that. Like every time I see you, it's a very different role, because like we talked about, sometimes people can just get typecast in acting. And I love that you are like continuing to evolve as an actor and trying to put yourself out in different situations. So thank you so much for your time. This is Vernon Davis, the star of The Ritual Killer. It comes to theaters and on demand on March 10th, 2023. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
That was Vernon Davis, the star of The Ritual Killer, which comes to theaters and on demand on March 10th, 2023. It is a crime thriller where Vernon Davis plays a very different character than I think what you've seen before, and he does a really great job in it. If you like this interview, please like and subscribe to this channel. It helps me out a lot. Make sure all my new content goes straight to you. Thank you.